Hello everyone, I am Simone and welcome to my channel. Today in this short video I would like to shed some light on an aspect that I often deal with in my studies and in my videos. I am talking about colonialism, more specifically the main aspects of the different colonial systems that, for better or for worse, have shaped the modern world. If you have been following my channel for a while, you know that colonialism, in all its aspects, is a recurring topic in my videos. Among these, especially its legacies in the contemporary world are a topic of great interest to me. I have been asked many times, what was the best colonial system? Or what was the most successful one? The terms of comparison are various and complex, and drawing up a ranking is, in my opinion, totally misleading and unnecessary. Of course, considering the geographical and temporal extension of this phenomenon, we can identify different colonial systems, namely Spanish, Portuguese, English, French, Dutch, and even others less known to mainstream culture, such as Danish, Swedish, Italian, German, Belgian, etc. Now, before you can accuse me of promoting an excessive Eurocentrism in defining colonialism, let's immediately clarify that it was neither a purely European phenomenon nor historically centered only in modern and contemporary ages. In fact, in history we find similar dynamics shared by different civilizations and eras. However, it is undeniable that the extent of European colonialism in the modern and contemporary world has had an unparalleled impact on our present. I would like then to focus on the two systems, namely the French and the English ones, that more than others have influenced and affected the lives of billions of individuals and dozens of states and societies in the modern world. Precisely in this regard, a comparison between these two great colonial mindsets is necessary. These were practically the antipodes. On the one hand, there was the English system, led by the idea of the indirect rule, which based its legitimization through local representatives. On the other hand, there was the French system, based on the idea of the assimilation coloniale, or colonial assimilation. The idea emerged from the great centralizing policy of France at political, administrative and cultural levels. I would therefore like to try to understand if the British indirect rule was a better form than the colonial assimilation of the French towards the conquered territories in Africa and Asia for the results it produced. For a long time it was said that the two colonial empires had two different and opposite systems. For the British, their indirect domination was carried out, for example, by relying in India on the Maharajas willing to collaborate, or in South Africa on the Dutch settlers, the Boers, after having tamed their fierce resistance and having subdued them through two difficult and bloody wars. And wherever possible by seeking local powerful leaders, classes and groups willing to collaborate with the British authorities. By relying on these intermediate figures, a lot of autonomy was generally granted to the various territories part of the empire, while the presence of the motherland was often limited to sending some officers, administrators or troops. At most, a protectorate could have been accepted, as in the example of Egypt, where this type of political domination was imposed from 1882 onwards. Political control was functional to that of connections and trade. Basically, the Union Jack ruled everywhere, even if it didn't seem so. Apparently, the French system was completely the opposite. It has always been said that France imposed highly centralistic administrations that closely controlled all colonial territories. The idea was that these territories were, or they would end up constituting, an integral part of France. Basically, they should have been, willing or not, gradually assimilated in the culture, institutions, language and values of the motherland. In perspective, therefore, even the local populations should have become French through a civilizing process that would have eventually allowed even the indigenous people to become French citizens, upon reaching the appropriate civilization level. In some cases, France has come really close to achieving this goal. Algeria, for example, was officially and practically part of the French metropolitan territory. It was divided into departments that sent the deputies to Paris, and the destiny of the local Arab population was to acquire French citizenship. Today, however, we all know that in Algeria the system had miserably failed. France faced a terrible war and lost it. It turned out that the local population was not so interested in becoming French. They preferred to be masters in their own home. At first glance then, it would seem that the French system was a failure, while the British indirect rule was more successful, or at least better than the French counterpart. However, since in history we always discuss and rediscuss, we are ready to review our beliefs that never stop at the consensus, and we always question facts, especially when new sources become available. We can argue that in reality it is not really true that British always governed in an indirect manner. On several occasions, they've also proved themselves being really capable of imposing a direct control from the motherland. And it is not true that the French always centralized. Many times they relied on local leaders too, for example in the case of Tunisia. Yes, you got the point. It is a bit of an exaggeration to create these two opposing models. But what is certain is that both the systems failed. Colonialism was a great experiment in which Europe enormously invested large sums and high hopes. But it turned out to be a total failure because, above all, it was discovered that people don't like having foreign offices and foreign troops in their own countries. It doesn't matter how much civilization the occupants carry along in this regard. Even periods or rulers considered more enlightened than others, such as the long imperial regime of the English Queen Victoria, that gave its name to an era, bear the same responsibilities as all the other European countries that were under the illusion of bringing civilization to other continents and cultures. Today, it does not appear that the world, especially in the West, has treasured these teachings. Although the methods and forms have changed over time, and no one talks of exporting civilization anymore, we live under the same illusion of having the celestial mandate to export values in forms of human rights, democracy, and/or economic models to other cultures and societies. Often, as we see, these are just ideological justifications for imposing one's authority over the others under philanthropic claims that are not even too veiled. We are witnessing the repetition of history. This time, however, or to be precise, since 1971, we are facing another type of domination far more pervasive than the commercial and cultural ones resulting from the direct or indirect rules of the English and French colonial systems. I'm talking about that of financial hegemony. But this, dear friends, will perhaps be the subject of another video.